already had the feeling that it was being tested by a woman, but had no idea what she really wanted, as if every word of yours was being evaluated and every attitude secretly analyzed? Because let me tell you something, you were not imagining. This really happens. And if you don't understand what's behind these silent tests, you're playing in the dark and losing ugly in the attraction game. Today, you will find something that will completely change the way you see women and relationships. I will reveal you 9 secrets that every woman hides, and that every man should know if she wants to master the art of seduction, generate true desire, and build a high-value relationship. Pay attention. Women rarely say what they are feeling clearly. This is not a defect, it's instinct. It is part of the nature of the female attraction. While many men focus on what is said, true power is in what is not said. She can say it's okay, but the eyes tell another story. She may smile, but the tone of voice gives the truth. You need to learn to read the invisible if you really want to win. The problem is that most men fail because they only hold on to words. They forget that seduction happens between the lines. When you start to understand micro-expressions, subtle mood changes, and small signs hidden in her behavior, you unlock a new level of emotional connection. And believe me, it is at this level that the game really begins. Do you know that moment when it seems distant, cold, indifferent? In 90% of cases, it's not a lack of interest, it's fear. Fear of seeming too vulnerable, fear of surrendering and getting hurt. And what does she do? Creates tests. She teases, she silences, she watches. And the man who understands this and knows how to react automatically stands out among all others. That's why today you will learn how to identify these silent signs. How to interpret when she is pretending indifference, but is shouting for attention inside. How to detect insecurity disguised as pride or enchantment disguised as coldness. Because yes, often that woman you think despises you. You are simply trying to find out if you are an emotionally strong enough man to see beyond the surface. This is the true hidden game of attraction, and few men are prepared to play it. But today, you will be. And now that you already understand that not everything is what seems in female behavior, that there is a secret code being used in each meeting, every conversation, every silence, it's time to dive into this universe and know the first secret that every woman hides, and that can completely change the course of your relationship if you know how to identify. It's time to dive into this universe and know the first secret that every woman hides, and that can completely change the course of your relationship if you know how to identify. But before continuing, let me make a quick and important invitation. If you have gotten here, it is because you feel you need to evolve, that there is something inside you asking for change. And this is the first step, recognizing that the way you have been dealing with women may not be the best. And it's okay, because here, in this channel, we do not pretend to know everything. We learn together, grow together, and transform each error into strength. Then do the following now. Comment down here with the word change if you are determined to turn the key to your love life, if you want to stop being rejected by not understanding the signs, if you want to stop being the guy who is left in a vacuum and becomes the guy who dominates the game with emotional intelligence, presence, and confidence. This comment is not just for me. It is a commitment to yourself. This is the time to mark the beginning of your new phase. I read every comment and answer many of them. Let's build this community of conscious men ready to master the art of attraction and live high-value relationships. Enjoy and already leave the like in this video because it shows that this content is making sense to you and motivates me to bring even more deep, real, and practical content. And of course, subscribes to the channel and activates the bell, not because everyone asks this, but because if you really want to evolve on this, you can't lose the next videos. They will teach you how to decipher the feminine mind, achieve authenticity, and build relationships that last and strengthen you as a man. Now, if you have left the like, you have commented change, and you are inscribed holds firm, because what comes next is the first of the 9 secrets that will open your eyes. Get ready to see what has never been said, but it has always been there. Holds on firm, because what and next is the first of the 9 secrets that will open your eyes. Get ready to see what has never been said, but it has always been there. And here is a truth that few men realize, and even less can apply. Women expect you to know what to do, without they having to tell you anything. That's right. There is an invisible list, a silent manual, full of hidden desires that it will never put into words. Not because she wants to confuse you, but because instinctively she associates value with a man who understands without being guided. A man who reads the environment, who perceives what it needs, that anticipates and delivers it naturally. You know that moment when she changes her tone and says, "It's okay," but do you feel something wrong? Or when she gets her hair, crosses her arms, walks away slightly, and do you feel that you have lost your connection? But don't you understand the reason? These are in these details that is the true code of seduction. Because most men respond to words, but men who really stand out in relationships respond to energy, to subtle language, what she communicates without ever having to verbalize. And the most impressive is, she won't teach you. She doesn't want to teach you, because deep down, if she has to tell you what to do, she has already lost part of the charm. Because what really activates female desire is this feeling that you understand what it needs, and offers it spontaneously. No charge, no obligation, without asking all the time she wants. And what does she want? She wants to feel emotional security. Not that forced pose of macho who feels nothing, but the safety of someone who knows how to position themselves without having to attack. Of someone who can hear without reacting defensively, of someone who, even in the face of doubt or drama, keeps the center firm, stable. She wants to know that, next to you, she can be vulnerable, without using her later. She also wants attention to the details. Little things, such as remembering what she said at a random moment, notice a mood change, or notice that something in her eyes is different today. This is what generates connection. This is what you show that you are not just there with a present body, but you are really present. And finally, she wants subtle validation. Not that flatter type, exaggerated, but the validation that comes from a firm look, an unexpected compliment, a silent recognition that says, "I see you." Men who can develop this perception create a magnetic connection. Because in the end, seduction is not in ready-made sentences or decorated techniques. It's about understanding what she feels, even before she even understands. And it only happens when you learn to hear what it doesn't say, when you see beyond words, beyond surface attitudes, when you train your emotional sensitivity, not to become fragile, but to become more complete, more whole, more real man. And you can be sure, when you start to become this kind of man, she realizes, it changes, it approaches, it opens. Because finally, she feels that she found someone who knows how to get to her without invading, without forcing, without trying to be something she is not. And that for her is extremely rare. And what is rare is irresistible. So now it tells me, you already felt that a woman wanted something from you, but never said what it was. Have you ever been to be tested, evaluated, analyzed, even when she looked quiet? Right here in the comments. Now everything makes sense if you've been through this. Or simply comments, "I'm learning to hear what she doesn't say." I want to know who is really connected with this content. And if you haven't commented yet, this is your time to get involved. Show me that you are here with me in this process of transformation, because what comes next will change everything. Shows me that you are here with me in this process of transformation, because what comes next will change everything. You need to understand this now. Every woman will test you, not because she wants to knock you down, not because she's playing against you, but because there is something much deeper operating behind these random behaviors. And if you don't know how to recognize these subtle behavioral tests, it will fall straight into the emotional traps that destroy your chance to build a real, powerful, and lasting connection. She tests you with silence, with sudden indifference, with a provocation that looks silly but has a clear goal. See how you react. She disagrees with you just to see if you lose control. She walks away a little after a moment of intimacy, just to feel if you will be desperate, insecure, or if you will maintain your emotional stability. These tests are not accidental. They are intuitive. These are ways that the female brain uses to identify a man of value, an emotionally solid, confident man, and that does not disrupt before small pressures. Many guys fail here. They react exaggerately. They try to justify themselves, to defend themselves, to explain too much. They are insecure, fragile, or even aggressive, and this breaks the whole image of authority and self-confidence that it needs to feel to allow itself to trust and surrender. She doesn't want a perfect man, but wants a man who knows how to stay whole, even when she is being challenged. A man who does not wake up, does not apologize for everything, does not try to be nice to please at all costs. And here is the secret to passing these tests and standing out between 90% of men. Keep your presence firm. When she provokes you, don't enter the reactive game. Breathe, note, responds calmly, shows that you are in control of yourself. When she walks away, don't run after, do not beg. Show value for silence too. This is not coldness, it is emotional maturity. You are showing without having to speak that your energy does not depend on her approval. These tests are not about wanting to manipulate you. These are unconscious ways to find out if you are able to support a real relationship, if you have consistency, if you know who you are, if you are a man she can respect and wish. The real seduction is not what you say. It is what you transmit without saying a word, in your firm look, in your posture, in your comfortable silence, in yours not to shake. And that, for women, is more attractive than any phrase made. And from the moment you pass these tests, it changes. She surrenders. She begins to trust, because you were not just one more. You were the one who understands the invisible game. What knows that the female mind is complex, sensitive, and full of hidden codes, but once deciphered, they put you on a completely different level. She realizes that you don't have to prove anything, and this kind of man is rare. This type of man is magnetic. That kind of man is in her mind. Now it tells me you already felt that you were being tested, but you only understood that after everything went wrong. Have you fallen into any of these provocations and regretted your reaction? Or did you realize that when it was calm and firm, she looked at you differently? Write here in the comments the phrase, "Now I see the game behind the game," if it opened your eyes. Or comments, "I am 1%," if you are ready to be a man who passes the tests effortlessly, with authenticity and presence. Of course, if this video made you see everything more clearly, it already makes your like, because it shows me that this content is being useful for you. And if you haven't signed up yet, this is the moment. Click on the inscription button and activate the bell, because in the next videos, I will further deepen the backstage of the female mind, the secret mechanisms of attraction, and how you can use it to build intense, healthy, and especially true relationships. Stay with me. The next secret is one of the most powerful.